The apartment building was old, its paint peeled, shadows clung to every corner. Evelyn didn't mind. This was a fresh start. She was leaving behind a past filled with hurt. This building, with its low rent and faded glory, offered anonymity. It was a place to heal. The air inside felt heavy. Dust motes danced in the weak light from the hallway window. Evelyn dragged her suitcase down the worn carpet. Her footsteps echoed in the silence. Each step was a step further away from the life that haunted her. This was her chance to start again. Her apartment was small, just a single room, but it had a window that looked out onto a tree. The tree's branches scraped against the glass. It was like a greeting. Evelyn unpacked quickly. She placed a framed photograph on the nightstand. It was a picture of her smiling, a reminder of the happiness she once felt. The building seemed to sigh around her, but Evelyn felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe here in this tired old place she could find peace. Days turned into weeks. Evelyn settled into a routine. She found work at a nearby bookstore. Surrounded by words, she felt a sense of calm. But the building had a way of reminding her of its presence. The plumbing groaned, the floorboards creaked. And then there was the basement. The basement was where the laundry room lived. It was down a set of narrow stairs. The air grew thick and cold as Evelyn descended. The steps were wooden, worn smooth with time. Each step seemed to whisper. The air down there smelled of mildew and something else, something unidentifiable and unsettling. The laundry room was small and dimly lit. A single bulb cast harsh shadows. The machines were ancient. They rattled and shook as they chugged through their cycles. Evelyn hated coming down here, but she had no choice. There was an energy in the basement. It was palpable, a feeling of being watched. Evelyn would hurry with her laundry. Her eyes darted around. She longed to be back in her apartment, back in the company of her books and the comforting silence of her own thoughts. One night, Evelyn ran out of clean clothes. The washing machine rumbled above the sound of the television. She tried to ignore it, tried to focus on the book in her hands, but the rumbling grew louder, more insistent. It was as if the machine was calling her. Evelyn glanced at the clock. It was almost midnight. She hesitated. The thought of venturing down to the basement at this hour sent chills down her spine, but she was out of options. With a sigh, she grabbed her laundry basket. The hallway was empty. The flickering fluorescent lights buzzed. Evelyn shivered. The air felt colder tonight, heavier, as if a storm was brewing inside the building itself. She reached the basement door. It creaked open as if inviting her in. The basement was darker than usual. The single light bulb had burned out. Evelyn fumbled for the switch. She flicked it on and off. Nothing. She was plunged into darkness. Only the faint glow from the hallway light penetrated the gloom. The washing machine continued its rhythmic thumping. Each thump seemed to echo in Evelyn's chest. Evelyn inched down the stairs. The steps groaned in protest. The air was thick with the smell of dampness and decay. She stumbled over something soft and yielding. Her heart leapt into her throat. She kicked the object away. It landed with a soft thud. It was just a pile of old clothes. Evelyn breathed a sigh of relief. She reached the bottom of the stairs. The washing machine's rhythmic chugging was hypnotic. Evelyn made her way through the darkness. She could barely see the outlines of the machines. She reached out a hand to steady herself. Her fingers brushed against something cold and wet. It was the door of a washing machine. It stood slightly ajar. Evelyn peered inside. The drum was empty. Except for a single pale hand, it rested against the side of the drum, fingers curled into a loose fist. The hand was still, lifeless, but it was undeniably there. Evelyn stumbled back. A scream caught in her throat. She tripped over her own feet. She fell to the cold, hard floor. Her heart pounded in her ears. She couldn't take her eyes off that hand, that pale, lifeless hand. The hand disappeared. Evelyn blinked, unsure if she had imagined it, but the terror that gripped her was real. She scrambled to her feet. She had to get out of there. She turned to flee, but something blocked her path. A figure stood in the doorway. It was tall and skeletal. Its limbs were elongated, unnatural. Its head was tilted at an odd angle, as if it were broken. Evelyn couldn't make out any features in the darkness, but she could feel its eyes on her. The figure took a step closer. Evelyn backed away. Her back hit the wall. She was trapped. The figure moved with an eerie grace. It was as if it glided over the floor. It raised its hand. Evelyn squeezed her eyes shut. She waited for the touch, but it never came. Evelyn opened her eyes. The figure was gone. The laundry room was empty. The washing machines hummed. The only sound was Evelyn's own ragged breathing. She ran. She ran up the stairs. She didn't stop running until she reached her apartment. Once inside, she slammed the door shut. She leaned against it, gasping for breath. What had she seen? What had that thing been? Evelyn knew, deep down, that it hadn't been real. Not in the traditional sense. This creature, this figment of the darkness, was born from her own fear. It was a manifestation of her guilt and shame. It was the physical embodiment of everything she tried to outrun. It was her past, coming back to haunt her. Evelyn realized that she couldn't keep running. She had to face her demons. She had to confront the pain that she had been carrying for so long. Only then could she find peace. Only then could she truly be free. Evelyn never went back to the laundry room. She found a laundromat a few blocks away. It was brightly lit and always crowded. The rhythmic hum of the machines was almost comforting. It was a reminder that she wasn't alone. She started seeing a therapist. It was difficult at first, painful to dredge up all those old memories, but Evelyn was determined to heal. She went to therapy twice a week. She faced her fears. She talked about her past, and slowly she started to let go. The nightmares still came, but they were less frequent now, less vivid. Evelyn knew that the figure in the shadows would always be a part of her, but it didn't control her anymore. She had faced it, and in doing so, she had found her strength. She had found her voice. She had found herself.